So I had this idea for a Halloween art journal page, but it involved the silhouette of a black cat. Now, when I think of black cats and Halloween, I think of one particular black cat, a black cat called Spite, and it was an ornament created by a company called Nemesis Now. So I found a photograph of Spite, and I've also traced him on the computer, and I've turned him into an outline that I can cut from black cardstock on my laser cutter. So this is the outline of Spite once I'd auto traced him from the photograph. So this is him being cut out by the laser. There's his tail. So the laser's cutting at a speed of 1 inch per second, so it doesn't take long at all. Okay, so if I carefully lift the sheet out now, you should be able to see the silhouette of Spite left behind. There we go. Fantastic. Alright, so here is the black cat all cut out. I did cut it on double-sided black cardstock. It was just from a 12x12 piece of cardstock, and you can see it's not particularly thick either, so it is just the sort of stuff you'd use for a scrapbook page. So I've got some paint here. I've got my spooky colours out. I've got the green, the purple and the orange. I've got some brown, but I've also got some black gesso to play with too for some highlights and some mark making. So what I'm going to do, just put Spite to one side for a second, and I'm going to be using the Momigami journal. There's only a couple of sheets left in this now, so I think it's time I actually wrapped this journal up all together. Because originally I did it just with 12 pages so that I could do 1 page a month, but you know, circumstances and all that kind of stuff have got the better of me. And that's just not really what's happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to bring in, perhaps I ought to have put a coating of white gesso down to start off with. No, we'll do. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing in some colour blocks. So in a similar way to how the papers, the Halloween papers for All Hallows were created, colour blocks like this, and then kind of blended into different colours, but not necessarily on the same sort of paper, obviously. So, and then we'll bring that green in, just give it a shake. So I'm using paint wise from Indigo Blue. You've been mangoed for the orange. This is Shepherd Green, which just seems a bit of a bright green. Oh, dear me, I managed to get paint everywhere now. This is just my look today. Yeah, love it. Right, so just quickly give that brush a rinse off in my water, just dab it off. Grab some of that Shepherd Green. So these are matte paints, but because I've not put any gesso or anything on the page, primed the page or anything, then they're not particularly opaque as they would be if it was on kind of like a plain white paper, if you know what I mean. Right, so let's get another wet wipe. I thought I had another packet open, but there you go. It's a bit strange. Well, no more stranger than me, I suppose. Right, different brush this time. Let's get this purple now then. This is kind of a dark purple. It's called Forest Fruits. I've got another one called Barney Purple, but there's also a lighter purple as well, which is called Wimberry Pie. I'm gonna go with the Forest Fruits because that's. Is there another purple there? There is. Velvet Rose. So even though purple's not my favourite colour, I do seem to have quite a few different shades of purple. It's 4 there, look, but I'm only going to use 1, and I haven't even opened it. So I'll give it a shake. There we go. Let's pop that open. Oh, look at that. It's a real lovely Halloweeny colour, isn't it? Alright. Let's pick some of that up. Look at that. Like I said before, because we're not using it on white paper, you are going to get some show through, and we haven't gessoed anywhere. But it's fine. That's what this Mummigami journal was supposed to be for. Exactly this kind of show through. Okay. So now let's introduce a little bit of brown. Actually, I don't want to do dark brown. Let's use a lighter brown. Let's use warm tan, which is a lighter brown. So I did hear a whisper. I hope I'm not telling tales out of school or anything. I did hear a whisper the other day that Indigo Blue may be retiring some of their paints this year or next year. To make way for a new colour palette, which would be nice. See, this brown is a lot more opaque than the rest. Let's bring that brush back in again. More of that purple. Just to help blend it out a little bit. Some of the green. And then just give the brush a quick clean, quick dry. Let's grab some of that orange again. All right, so what I need to do now is I need to dry this page because I need to start blocking it out. Right, so I've got that dried off, but I'm not particularly happy with the opacity of some of the layers. So I'm just going to go over again, this time with a different shade of the colour. So this is Burning Bonfire in the orange, which is a little bit more of a brighter kind of shade, more of a Halloweeny shade if you ask me. There we go. I'm much happier with that. But I also want to come back in again. Now I'm looking at the greens. Now that seems to be the only green that I've got that isn't a pastel green or a really dark kind of green that's not really Halloweeny. So I'm going to have to go back in with that now that it's dry and just give it another coat. I'm hoping that second coat is going to be a bit better. There we go. Second coat's always usually better. Much better. Happy with that. Right, again, I'll just get those dried off. Right, now that's dry, I'm going to bring out the black gesso. I'm going to start just to kind of create some background kind of grunge and texture. So first kind of layer of just separations, breaking up those block colours. Just with a smaller brush. And then we can start to do other stuff. Like pick up some of the black gesso and start doing some splatters. Maybe even some runs. Just to kind of break it all up. And then we can add some more texture with some stamping. But we need to do a lot of drying in between. So let me get that dried and I'll be right back. All right, so stamping. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Journaling Textures 2. We use the brick there, but I'm going to use it freehand. Seeing as I'm right-handed, I'll have to do it this way. Oh, I'll get rid of some of those tissues. Just ink up, and then I can come in, just give some like brick wall texture over here. Like so. And I'm not going to clean these off straight away. And then I've got like the crackler effect, which is this one at the bottom, and I'm going to add some of that towards the top. But am I going to use a stamping block for that? No, I'm not. What I am going to use, I'm going to use the lid. Just because. Just to give it a little bit of grungy sort of texture. Because you can use the lids of your ink pots if you want to. I mean, that's how you get kind of grunginess and uneven lines. Of course you can. You can use whatever you like. Just because things were invented for a certain job doesn't mean to say you've got to use them. Like I've always said, you do you. Or is that somebody else that says that? Okay, so what I do want to do though, is I want to add some like faux text in there as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of difference. So let's see, and I put that ink away, didn't I? And I shouldn't have done really. So the only thing I do with my text stamps, I always put an arrow just to show, or just so that I know which way is the right way up. Because there's nothing worse than being able to see text and know that it's upside down. It just, I won't say it offends, it just stands out, that's all. Okay, so that was the text from Journaling Textures 1. Again, both of these stamp sets that I'm using today are still available on the website if you're interested. I know it's a shameless plug, but we all have to make a living. Food doesn't just appear on the table. It has to be earned. Okay, so what I need to do now is just get this dried off, because it will take a little while for that ink to dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, now that most of that's dried, it's time to add some highlights into it. So I've got my watered down white gesso here, so I'm going to add some white splatters just to kind of break up that background a little. But I'm not going too mad. I'll do. Happy with that. And I know I've just got some on that page there, but they'll just lift off. There we go. Not that it matters too much. Here we go. All right, so once again, I'll just get that lot dried off. So now that lot's dry, I've got one of my Uniball Ocean Care pens, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more finer detail. Just kind of in between those colour divisions. Just to kind of break them up a little bit more, kind of vertically, not just horizontally. Just a little bit of kind of fine detail mark making Again, if you had sort of a spider web stamp, you could do maybe something similar. I do have spider web stamp, but I don't think I want to use every motif in every art journal page. You just can't do it. But you can break your lines up either way, and then if you wanted to, you could actually do some doodling, start drawing in crosses, start drawing in doodly circles, just break things up. And there are stencils that you can use. There's all sorts of things you could do. But I just like to break up areas within art journal pages sometimes, just by not necessarily doing the unexpected, but because none of this is unexpected. It's all kind of expected. It's what you expect when you see an art journal page, to see this kind of mark making, this kind of stuff going on in the background. All right, so that's where we're at the moment. So we've got that extra kind of detailing, that fine detailing with the pen. It's helped to break everything up. You've got the stamping. So now we need to introduce our main focal character into the page, like so. But what I want to do is I just want to put a different colour behind Spike's eyes and nose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut a small square out of some yellow cardstock. There we go. See how much difference that makes. Let me just trim that down a little because it is a bit too big. There we go. So that should fit quite nicely on that page there now. So I just want to be very careful and add a little bit of glue just around the edges. He says, hoping he's got his, yes, I've got some white glue here. Let's just give that a quick clean. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very gently just giving that a shake. It's just put a little bit of glue just around. I'll do. Like so. Hopefully that's not gone through. Oh, it has a little bit, but that's okay, because what we can do is just get a tissue, just dab that off. Okay. Lovely. And then we've got the perfect kind of cat, almost sat on that brick wall there, which I absolutely love. I think that's great. Love that. Right, so let's get that glued down. Right, so I need just a little bit of glue. Try not to go too mad with it. That should do. Let's flip that over and then position him just there on the page. Now what I need to do is just put something heavy on top of it, just to hold it down for now. There we go. Can't get much heavier than that. That should just hold it down for a few minutes while I go and make myself a nice cup of coffee, and then I'll be right back. So Spite has had a few minutes to dry and be flattened down onto the page. So I've taken out my Stabilo all pencil in black. Let me just move my coffee out of the way. I did say I was going to make one. Oh, nectar. So what I'm going to do is just create a little bit of grounding for him. So just so we know that he is sat on top of that wall there. But just activate that with a little bit of water. There we go. Because the Stabilo alls are watercolour pencils. So we just need to activate that. Just bring that shadow down a little bit. Just like so. And we could even maybe just introduce maybe a drip if we can. No, I don't think it's going to run. That's fine, I don't mind that. So that now looks as though he's sat on that brown wall. Or at least I hope it does. Even in just a small way. Right, let's get that dried. Alright, so that bit's now dried off a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, just add in just a little bit more mark making. So with that, I've got some white gesso, a couple of small circular lids. And all I want to do is just add in just a couple of kind of little marks in the background. Like so. And then we'll just get a couple of smaller ones. And I think with that, one more. Now I'm happy. Okay, so let's get it dried off. All right, and just to finish off, a huge black cat. Let's have a look at these words. So let's see what we've got. I think there's one in here, if I remember rightly, that says watching and waiting. So I think, if I remember rightly, they're watching and waiting. There it is. Well, that's quite good. I don't know why that's up there, but watching and waiting, I think, is a really, really good one. So we'll just put that. Yeah, we'll just put that here. is the one that says a black cat. It's the one on the front that says it does. Unless I've already used it for something else. Interesting. Yeah, a huge black cat. Watching and waiting. So all we'll do with that is we'll now just go around. Go, just make it fit in. And I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going to do any more to that now. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this spooky Halloween art journal page using Spite the Black Cat. Watching and waiting. Love it. So, like I said, if you have enjoyed watching me create this, please remember to give the video a thumbs up because it does really help me and the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. Don't forget you can share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already for more spooky Halloween videos to come, then you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.